How's it going, everybody? I'm Lewis and we've got a new developer blog from the Old School RuneScape team. This developer blog is covering the PvP Quality of Life poll, which is part of the Quality of Life month they're currently hosting. It seems like it's starting to become a bit of a tradition to have Quality of Life month in February. Anyway, let's get straight into this by having a look at some Bounty Hunter tweaks. First of all, the Tier 1 emblems on the Grand Exchange. Since the Grand Exchange came out, you weren't able to put on Tier 1 Bounty Hunter emblems despite the fact they're a tradable item. So to help some players sell off their emblems and others to buy the emblems, they're going to be offering the ability to put them on the Grand Exchange. So they'll be asking, should Tier 1 Bounty Hunter emblems be tradable on the Grand Exchange? It would also become possible to note the emblems with this change. If this update comes into the game, I imagine that'd be quite good even for the non-PvPers. If they want to get an item from the Bounty Hunter store, then they'll be able to buy emblems a lot easier and a lot quicker. Perhaps the price of the Bounty Hunter emblems may drop a little bit, but I imagine it will balance out after a while. Next, the improved emblem drop rate from the Wilderness bosses. Currently, if you're killing the Wilderness bosses on world 318, you've got a 1 in 50 chance of getting yourself an emblem drop. The Old School RuneScape team would like to change this to 1 in 5, to encourage more players to try and kill the Wilderness bosses on that world, and hopefully some more PvP action can ensue. So the Old School RuneScape team will be asking, should the chance of receiving mysterious emblems from Wilderness bosses be increased to 1 in 5 from 1 in 50? It will still only be possible to receive emblems as a drop on world 318. Again, this will be another thing that will probably help Bounty Hunter, but it'll also help people doing PVM and the Wilderness bosses. Next, no targets beyond level 5 Wilderness. Some players get frustrated when they get given a Bounty Hunter target that's in the deep Wilderness. So the Old School RuneScape team will be asking, should a toggle be added to Bounty Hunter which prevents you getting targets who are located beyond level 5 Wilderness? So I find this question ridiculous. It's removing some of the most key aspects of the Bounty Hunter minigame, which is getting a target, hunting them down in the Wilderness, and fighting them. If you want to do regular PvP, there's so many other places in our game you can do that. You don't have to always be in Bounty Hunter. Therefore, I don't think these changes are necessary for Bounty Hunter. Next, overlay changes. The Old School RuneScape team would like to provide more information about your Bounty Hunter target. So the Old School RuneScape team will be asking, should the Bounty Hunter overlay display whether or not your target is schooled and the tier of emblem they are holding, if any. Which I imagine if you are a player that uses Bounty Hunter quite a bit, would be quite useful. The final Bounty Hunter question we've got is the teleport to bounty target rune cost change. I've not heard of widespread use of the bounty target spell, and the Old School RuneScape team would like to see if they can get more players using it. So they want to offer removing the rune cost completely. So they'll be asking, should the rune cost of the teleport to bounty target spell be removed? This is a strange update. I can understand why players might want it because they want to automatically teleport to their target and kill them. However, that's not part of the minigame. The part of the minigame is saying, oh, do you want to teleport to your target? Use some runes. And in fact, that's the whole part of RuneScape. If you want to teleport somewhere or something, you're going to have a tablet, runes, a scroll, something. Moving on to item dropping changes. The way item dropping works in Old School RuneScape has always been a bit of a problem when it's come to PvP. They've tried to make some specific rules to places like the Wilderness to try and stop people abusing how item dropping works. However, it's never always been great. So we've got a couple of suggestions which should hopefully be better than the current systems put in place. The idea is they'll make items which are dropped within the Wilderness appear instantly. However, food and potions will never appear to other players when dropped within the Wilderness. This should prevent teams from providing unlimited resources to players, but also stop players from trying to drop their items and stopping their attacker from gaining those items after they get killed. So it would seem fairly good. However, there are a few downsides, such as players having to relearn how they play in the Wilderness. Moving on to teleblock changes. First of all, the reduced experience for splashing a teleblock. Currently with the teleblock spell, if you hit or miss with it, you'll get the same amount of experience. So the Old School RuneScape team want to offer a reduction to the amount of experience if the teleblock fails. This will make it a little bit easier for players to know if their teleblock was successful or not. The Old School RuneScape team will be asking, should splashing a teleblock provide less experience than casting one successfully? In my opinion, I think this is an absolutely ridiculous change. Spells give you casting experience, and for certain spells usually used in combat, you also get damage experience. Spells such as Teleblock just give you the casting experience because they don't do any damage. That's part of the game, and I don't see why you'd want to have that lessened. Next, Teleblock duration information. The Old School RuneScape team would like players to know how long they've got until their Teleblock wears off. This will just be a chat message if you try and teleport away. So it will say something like, you have to wait 30 seconds. For the Old School RuneScape team to do this, they're going to have to rewrite the Teleblock timer. That's because it runs once per minute and they want to give us the amount of seconds we've got remaining. So if they were to rewrite the timer script for Teleblock, then it would have the added side effect of making the duration of Teleblocks more consistent. Currently with the 1 minute timer, Teleblocks can vary quite a bit, with a maximum of anywhere between 4 and 5 minutes. And I imagine you'll never know because most players aren't going to be checking what time they got Teleblocked. So the Old School RuneScape team will be asking, should they change the Teleblock spell so that you can tell how many seconds remain before you can teleport? This will make the duration of the Teleblocks more consistent. Which sounds like a very useful update for players that use Teleblock quite a lot. The last Teleblock change is Teleblocks removed in PvP safe zones. Currently, if you get teleblocked in the wilderness and return to a safe area, your teleblock gets removed. However, this isn't the case when you're on a PvP world. So the Old School RuneScape team will be asking, should teleblocks be removed when you enter a safe zone on a PvP world? Seeing as this is something we've already got in the wilderness, I have no real objection with them adding that to PvP worlds. In fact, I'd go ahead and say that I actively dislike PvP worlds because I know that teleblocks work differently than they do in the main Old School RuneScape game. I really feel that all the different game modes with Old School RuneScape should try and keep some kind of consistency. And when you look at things like this, you realise they really aren't that consistent. It's making me wonder what the rules for teleblock are in Deadman mode. Finally, we've got two other questions. Should a Wine of Zamorak spawn be added to the temple found in level 35 Wilderness? This wine would need to be telegrabbed, and players who have completed the Hard Wilderness Diary would receive them in noted form. Again, this sounds like another completely unnecessary update. You can now grow your own Zamarakian grapes, which you can create Wine of Zamorak with, so I have no idea why they want to add more spawns for the item. And should the kill-death ratio overlay track kills and deaths in the entire wilderness rather than just those beyond level 20 wilderness? I can see why that would be a good update. If I was a PvPer, I would definitely like to see my kill-death ratio within the entire wilderness as opposed to just below level 20. If you've got any comments about the questions in this developer blog, please let me know in my comments below. I'd especially like to talk to a PvPer to see what their opinions about these questions are. If you want to watch my video on the latest Old School RuneScape poll, please click here for the top 10 skilling suggestions. And if you want to watch my video on the latest Old School RuneScape update, please click here for colourful golems and graphical improvements. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and share, and if you want to keep up to date with the Old School RuneScape updates, stat box and polls, please subscribe. I've been Lewis, thanks for watching, goodbye.